Jordan bans Muslim Brotherhood after terror pot exposed. Exposed. Okay. In a dramatic escalation, Jordan has officially banned the Muslim Brotherhood and seized its assets following revelations of a terror plot allegedly or orchestrated by members of the group. Interior Minister Mazen Fraya announced on April 23rd that all activities promoting the Brotherhood or its ideology would be criminalized, citing the group's role in a years long plot to destabilize the Hashemite Kingdom. Authorities say 16 members, trained and financed in Lebanon, were arrested for manufacturing rockets and drones intended for attacks inside Jordan, with weapons and covert missile labs reportedly being discovered in residential areas. Quote, members of these dissolved Muslim Brotherhood have tampered with security and national unity, the Interior Ministry said. The crackdown included raids on offices and confiscation of Brotherhood-linked documents. While the group denies the accusation, its political wing, the Islamic Action Front, which is Jordan's largest opposition party, claimed that, quote, it had no relationship with any other organizational body. The ban threatens to upend Jordan's already fragile political balance as the Brotherhood's grassroots support remains strong in urban areas. So, there is a lot that I want to cover here. And so basically, the Jordanian authorities have been aware of this plot for many years now. And I think there was one source I was reading that was saying as far back as 2021. And they decided to say enough is enough. We're pulling you guys in now. And so some important context to understand is that the Jordan cracked down on the Muslim Brotherhood off the top of my head, I think in 1999. I could be a little bit off. But basically, broad portions of the Muslim Brotherhood as an organization went under severe crackdown and got banned um, many years ago. But there was a portion of it that was allowed to remain under certain restrictions, right? And the portion of it that was allowed to remain was the political party, which is the Islamic Action Front. Now, what's really important to understand is that actually, am I misremembering the date? So basically, many years ago, Hamas got kicked out of Jordan because, they're undermining Jordan's sovereignty. And and I'll touch on this again, but because of things like Black September, Jordan is very sensitive to when people are forming a state within the state. Very, very sensitive to people forming a state within the state. So this the modern political party, the Islamic Action Front, the IAF, really captured on the stronghold of majority or very large Palestinian urban populations since October 7th. And they used that sentiment to make a lot of promises and use a lot of strong language to make major gains within the governing body of Jordan. It was this huge win because now they're the largest opposition party, but because of a few seats or whatever, they don't have full control. And it's a tenuous situation because people wonder how far the government and will go on cracking down on them because they have been able to garner so much popular support recently since October 7th. So some people wonder, like, if they crack down too hard now, essentially that might bite them in the ass. So in the immediate, they might have to be very targeted with who they start prosecuting. They might have to be very delicate because if they go down too hard, they don't want to strike up all-out confrontation because there's so much public anger over Gaza and there's economic hardship, and the Muslim Brotherhood had such a large recent election victory that all-out confrontation could lead to a much more vigorous challenge of the government and of the monarchy. Like, do I is that making sense so far? Okay. So one analyst that I was reading, he was saying that one less severe approach could include some measured steps, like curtailing a lot of their power without like fully outlining them, like enforcing the ban on the Muslim Brotherhood, but allowing the IAF to continue operating, or making very like targeted action against specific members, particularly those still like really close to Hamas. I mean, there were instances of them organizing marches and protests in major cities and having Hamas figures come and, virtually address the demonstrations and making speeches, or issues of people displaying Hamas logos, like very explicit support for Hamas, the flags, the headbands, the whatever, whatever. And that's a little bit of a no no. It's a little bit of a no no. But there are many people that are saying that, like, the Jordanian state has to do a very delicate dance where they have to show a lot of sympathy and, like, make a lot of action like they are the voice of the Palestinian people because of what's happening domestically. And but that it's a double-edged sword because they have to do that to try to keep people calm and, like, with them to a certain extent, but it's a double-edged sword because them doing that also legitimizes things, and then might actually cause people to demand more and ask, "Why aren't you doing more? You should be going harder." Like, the IAF is pushing for Jordan to end its peace deal, end normalization with Israel, for example. That's one thing that they were pushing for in the elections. Well, look, I don't think that's gonna happen. But they like these grandiose, kinda moves and statements. And so, especially the monarchy, they have to do this delicate dance.
Yeah,
Armin,
because it's their
what do you
own lives at stake. It's like there are many, many, many people in Jordan who are hoping for the day that they could behead the king and the queen for betraying the Palestinian people, put their heads on a spike, and basically get revenge for being um, what they consider to be allies of Israel. And these people are not just trying to save their country; they're also trying to save their own ass. The king and queen.
and here's the thing, like, I've had a lot of criticism for the monarchy in Jordan for many different things. Um, you know, King Abdullah has been like trying to go through this process over many years to kind of like revise their democratic system to gradually try to make it like a bit more democratic. And to be honest, some analysts I've been reading are saying that this whole affair is going to be a setback in that process. Um and I was like, look, there's look, you can have a lot of criticism of King Abdullah, right? Um the thing is he's keeping things stable.
Yeah, and
And
also
go ahead.
a lot of people use this as an example of how, again, I don't speak in such collective languages, so I'm just quoting other people. I mean, we have a Palestinian here in the chat who's Zaid, who is on our side, right? But a lot of people who say that the Palestinian people, they say, are very ungrateful, and whenever you help them, they eventually come and bite the hand that fed them. When Palestinians went to Lebanon, they ruined Lebanon, and when Jordan, the country as a country, when they allowed Palestinians to come to Jordan to be able to settle there, they formed a terrorist group and tried to topple the regime. And Jordan was like, well, we allowed these people to come here and basically settle here, and we were welcoming to them and nice to them. And now they're like, oh, okay, thank you. Can we topple the regime now? And they were, and that was before, that was that PLO's time, right? That was before we had these, at that time the Palestinian terrorism was more secular in nature than today. But Jordan basically has this very like they have bad experience with the Palestinian, and now the Palestinian population in Jordan is between 50 to 60%, and a lot of these people are considered the country that they're in right now to be a traitor. And imagine 60, including the Queen. The Queen is Palestinian too, right? But 60% of your population is Palestinian, and they consider the government of their country to be a traitor and on Israel's side. This is a very unstable situation. And a lot of people think that this is a ticking bomb. Jordan could be a ticking bomb at some point. I don't know if they're
Well, I mean, because
exaggerating.
there's a part of me where like sometimes I don't know, the Queen will come out and say something that like pisses me off, and then I think about it.
They
I'm like,
have to, I guess.
no, she 100% in their strategic interest has to say that. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
it's disingenuous. I'm not. It could be completely sincere, but either way, it is 100% within their strategic interest to say that, even no matter if I'm like, yeah, that's wrong, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean? Um, and yeah, Zayd is saying the monarchy is the only thing keeping Jordan from becoming Syria or Afghanistan. People don't understand how much of a huge role they play in keeping the minorities safe. Let me tell you something. This whole situation has made me understand the perspective of the Arab monarchists that I'm familiar with so much more. I used to be like, like these Arab monarchists, they kind of have an interesting point. I mean, I guess that's their experience, blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, I'm really starting to see what they're getting at. Like, um, yeah, I think in at a certain point you have to say if we don't have this stability, like the economic progress that we do have will be utterly robbed of us. We'll fall into utter poverty and we'll just spiral from there.
Mm.
So what is the calculation you want to make?
Yeah. I mean, I used to naively think like, democracy everywhere. You need to have democracy everywhere. Everywhere is ready for democracy always, right? But I mean, if your population is like Jordan, I mean, you're not ready for democracy. You're
Yeah.
just not ready for democracy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out over time. Um and in what way like further crackdown materializes. I mean, the fact that they found them conducting this whole like a years long sabotage plot. Look, let's just say that's a little bit of a trigger point for the Hashemite Kingdom. A sabotage plot. We saw how that panned out last time. Like, no,
Yeah.
thank you. No, thank you. Um, yeah. So, yeah, all Muslim Brotherhood activities would be banned in the country, and anyone promoting the group's ideology will be held accountable by law. The ban includes publishing anything by the group and the closure and confiscations of its offices and property. So they're like, we have had enough. You played your hand, and we're shutting you down.
Okay. And here's some comments that D highlighted. Oh.
This person is saying one can only hope the Western nations follow suit. I agree. There's way too much Muslim Brotherhood tied stuff going on all across Europe and North America.
Oh. So, by the way, for people, before you read this, for context, Echewan means brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
So, Echewani ideology means Muslim Brotherhood ideology. Okay, so go ahead.
So he's saying, okay, so they ban the UAE government is focused on designating the Muslim Brotherhood as terrorists. Ironic because they shake hands with Zionists. Such steps are made to appease their masters that they aren't radical but rather progressive Muslims. This is, if you look at the profile picture, this is a freaking jihadi, Somali jihadi wannabe. Yeah, God forbid an Arab ruler identified that these people are going to destabilize their entire country and render their entire people into poverty. And they're like, I think we have an interest to prevent that. Maybe it's for the betterment of all of our citizens if we don't allow that. Well,
Yeah. By the way, Zaid, as a Palestinian himself, is saying, I support the Jordanian government completely. My problem with Jordan is the people, not the government. By the way, Zaid is our very own Zionist Palestinian. Is that a friend in the chat? Which is always good to have him here because he gives us perspectives that no one else. Guys, if you have questions from a Palestinian in the chat, always ask Zaid your questions if you want to get his perspectives. Okay, so do you want
we
to
got some
read the
super chats.
chat? Yeah, let's
Okay.
do that.
Oh, we read this one. Carl is just saying, good stream, 5 out of 5. Thank you, Carl. Flip gave a super chat saying, Armin and Susie, commend you both for continuing to cover and bring insight into hard topics. Thank you. Thank you, Flip. Thank you for supporting the channel and making sure that we can keep going. And or Hirschfield is asking, did you already contact Mansour Khalifa?
When Mansour Khalifa and Khalifa?
These are Israeli Druze commentators and content creators.
I contacted the other person you guys told me, and I already got a confirmation that we're gonna have a show.
Oh wait,
So,
who? Tell me.
The Ashkar guy, Mansour Ashkar. Hold on.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that he's talking about here.
Why is my Twitter not loading? It's weird. Yes. Okay. So, Mansour. Yes, but Khalifa. Who's this Khalifa? Can you give me a full name?
Khalifa. That's his name.
Oh, Khalifa. Okay, so I'm supposed to contact him too.
He does streams with Mansour. And Mansour makes fun of
I think I'm doing. I think I'm actually. Hold on, let me see. I think I'm going to be doing a podcast with Khalifa Halabi. Is that his? Yeah. I think I'm doing a podcast with both of them at the same time. I was contacted by this Druze woman, Giulia.
Julia?
And it's the G. It's not a J. It's a gay. It's a G. G is a gay sound, not the J sound.
I'm pretty sure it's Julia.
Julia. Okay, I thought Julia is written with a J. Okay, with Julia, invited. She reached out to me and invited me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay, isn't Julia with a J? Yeah, Julia is with a J. So I was. I'm not mispronouncing things. Okay. No, I mean, if I'm mispronouncing it, I have the justification. Armin is having a stroke. Guys, I'm just checking Julia's with a J, not with a G. So G has a G sound, not a J sound. Julia. All right.
Wait, is this going to be on our channel or their channel?
Okay, guys, I don't know these people. I'm only getting introduced to this Druze community, but I was honored to be contacted before I even contact them. And apparently they have a podcast that I would be a guest in. And then I told Mansour that, oh, okay, Julia, she already invited me. And then Mansour Ashkar corrected that, like, okay, that's going to be on their podcast. But we were having a discussion about having a show on our channel. So apparently then Mansour, like, okay, we could have two shows. one that's going to be on this channel where Mansoor comes and talks here, and then Julia with a G will also is setting up a podcast that I will be a guest over there.
Okay, lovely. And I think we're starting to realize why I often do scheduling.
Yes. Also, Jean is calling me out saying I have a name that starts with a G and pronounced with a J, happens to Greek-based names. Okay. Yes, but even I know that, but I have never seen Julia spelled with a J.
Hey, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm excited for that. That's cool.
Yeah, me too. I would have to actually do some research because this isn't something that I'm only getting into, right? Like if we talk about, I don't know, Iran, Iraq, Syria, like the Shia side of it, I could talk about it nonstop, right? But we're getting into, and also like we got into Israel, but we were in India and Pakistan issue for a very long time, but we're only now getting into the Druze community. So this is like I have to do some homework
I
before
don't
I
think you
get
have to do homework. I mean, if they want to speak to you, they'd probably be interested in hearing your perspective as an Iranian.
Okay, sounds good.
You know, and in talking about what is the attitude in Iran. If I was bringing you on a podcast, I wouldn't be bringing you to talk about what I have expertise in. I'd be bringing you to talk about what you have expertise in.
Yeah, I mean, I guess when they come on this channel, I should just let them do most of the talking because they're educating our audience about the Druze situation in Syria. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah. If I do too much research, then I'm like, let me show you what I know, and that's not what the audience is there
Yeah,
for.
no, that's not what it's about. This is the
Yeah,
situation where like you're bringing someone specifically to ask them those questions. It's all good.
exactly. Okay.
Oh, Mortal
But
Wombat, good to see you again. She just gifted 5
yeah,
aces of public memberships. Thank you.
thank you, thank you. That's fantastic. Okay, yeah, guys, we're gonna have more member-only streams, so take advantage of your membership that has been gifted to you.
Yeah.
I always love that. Every time Mortal Wombat's names comes up, I'm like, that's a fantastic idea. All right, guys. So we're gonna end the stream. And again, thank you so much to Susanna and Dee for today's show. This was great. And yeah, and thank you guys for the super chats, for the membership gifts, for liking the stream, subscribing, and also shame upon the people who have not liked the stream unless you're driving, you're walking the dogs, you're like in the gym or something, and your hands are full with something. That's a good excuse for not liking the stream, but then make sure that at some point you come back here and like the stream. Okay, there's no excuses. Like, you shouldn't be supporting us financially if you are struggling financially, but there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse for not liking the stream. I mean, at least dislike the stream. Okay, do that if you didn't like the show, right? But do something. Okay, there's no excuse for that. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.